The environmental policy of just dump it in the river ends as China develops a bold new plan to tackle water pollution. Could it really be lights out for the NSA? Texas has a bright idea in the fight against mass surveillance. We take a look at the 100-year anniversary of the Armenian Genocide, and I can promise you, we can do that without saying the word And stick around for later in the show when we take to the streets to find out what you think. All this and more right now on Starseed Activate. Hi, my name is Gareth, and welcome to this installment of Starseed Activate. It took all I had to resist covering the wealth of space-age stories this week, including Chevy's new futuristic self-driving concept car, Russia announcing the launch of their own space station, or the fast burst radio wave transmissions we've been picking up. Hell, even NASA admitted they are guaranteed to find evidence of life within the next 10 years. 10 years? Oh man, that really had them rolling their eyes back at Jupiter Command. Hey NASA, here's a pro tip to speed things up. Look in your own basement. I'm sure you'll find something. Anyways, back to Earth. And some signs of positive change are becoming noticeable. Let's look first at what humans in the Chinese sector are doing to combat water pollution. They just came up with a new plan to shut down outdated polluting factories. And it looks like they will be using a combination of a carrot and a riding crop to get this done. There will be huge incentives for companies to modernize and minimize pollution, and those that don't make the grade by the end of 2015 will face immediate closure. The large country is finding that lack of clean water is a hindrance to development and aim to make drastic improvements. It may be great seeing regional leadership taking action on beneficial environmental policies. We're excited to watch how the situation improves, all of us. And they pulled it off just in time for Earth Day, too. A pretty clever idea out of the Texan sector is legislators put forward a bill that would turn off running water and cut electricity to the NSA facility in San Antonio. The frustration over the NSA's lack of transparency, mixed with the do-nothingness of a very theatrical bipartisan system, serves as the inspiration for the idea. If Texas manages to get this bill through, this could really happen. And you know, it just might work. Picture this. After a week of NSA employees burning through D batteries and shit in buckets, maybe they all grow tired of their work environment looking like a carnival cruise and go find a more fulfilling job. Either way, this should be a fun one to watch. If you want to help out on this one, we're enclosing links below for anyone interested. Together, we can make this a reality. April 24th marked the Centennial remembrance of the Armenian Genocide. And what happened 100 years ago could be considered one of the darkest events to transpire in modern recorded history. By now, many of you may have heard something about it. If you haven't, we will get to why that could be in a second. But let's take a closer look at the situation. Why won't Turkey apologize and admit that it systematically killed 1.5 million Armenians? And not just kill, but commit absolute atrocities, not to mention the massacre of an estimated 700,000 Greeks and around 300,000 Assyrians respectively. Well, because in doing so, it would mean that they could end up paying huge reparations. After all, they invaded, plundered, pillaged, murdered, raped, tortured, starved, stabbed, shot, hung, and worse to enough people to fill San Diego. It's not like they should just get to keep whatever they took. And what did they take exactly? Land, estates, factories, entire cities, beautiful young women and girls, great works of art. The wealth and cultural identity of Armenia was ravaged, and the people left with a tragic history that has touched the lives of millions throughout their entire population, even to this day. Now, what the Turks teach in schools and write in their history books is that there were rebel attacks. They claim the death tolls are greatly exaggerated and that losses were felt on both sides. Okay. So 91% of Turkish humans believe this. But here's the problem. There are mountains of photographs and evidence of Armenian losses, and in the Turkish files, it's mostly just a lot of mustaches. Turkey is also feeling pressure from the Pope, who called on them to recognize the tragedy for what it is: the first genocide of the 20th century. The European Parliament also reached a resolution calling on Turkey to admit its history so some form of reconciliation can begin. I don't know, maybe Turkey should just be called ostrich, as it seems like it just wants to keep its head buried in the sand. And keep in mind, it wasn't present-day Turks that did this. These were the actions of the Ottoman Empire. From what I can tell, Turks today look more like this. If you're wondering what the American stance is on it, keep wondering. They're pretty much silent. Why? Because Turkey is a key regional ally for the states, and talking about the Armenian Genocide with Turkish people has about the same results as taking a werewolf out for a full moon on his birthday. Don't think so? Let's ask then Senator Obama how he felt about the claims.
For those of you who aren't aware, there was a genocide that did take place against the Armenian people. It is one of these situations where we have seen a constant denial on the part of the Turkish government and others that this occurred. It has become a sore spot diplomatically. I have to check with my staff to find out what has gone on in our office that has resulted in us not signing on to it yet, and I'll be happy to get back to you on it.
Let's see if he found out. Okay. History books also point to evidence of Hitler referencing the atrocities committed, and that it was used as the basic framework for the Holocaust of Nazi Germany. Now, if you're wondering why this might be important today, let me tell you. Genocide hasn't really stopped. If you got the stomach, do a Google image search of how the two-state solution in Palestine is working out. And Israel isn't the only one with bloody knuckles. The civilian death toll of all modern wars in the Mideast only seems to go up, never down. So in order to stand up and put an end to these senseless wars, it may be valuable to investigate and come to honest terms with the events of the past. After all, the truth wants to be free. And thanks to the internet, all of us are now the stewards of history. Finally, we are going to turn things over to Bradley Holzer of the Starseed crew for his report from the surface.
It's time for the talk. Hey, this is Bradley with Starseed Activate. We thought it would be interesting if we head down to the surface and asked people how they feel about the subject of extraterrestrial life.
I have a question for you. Yes. UFOs, extraterrestrials, do you believe they exist?
Yeah, I do.
I'll believe in them when I see them.
Why would there not be extraterrestrials?
Hell no.
I do not believe we're alone.
Of course they do.
There are definitely intelligent forces out in the universe.
You see some of these little children walking around? Aliens, dude.
They used to say, I'm from Missouri, show me.
I never believed in any of that until one day when I was driving and I saw something that I couldn't explain up in the sky.
So another question for you. So you personally, have you ever seen anything strange or unusual up in the sky?
I have not. Yeah, I done seen like weird shit around my house in the south, like that's where I'm from. And I done seen like spaceships in there. I'm like, my mama tell me it's an airplane, but airplanes do not hover.
And we were like just sitting there looking at the stars, and then one started moving in a straight line to the side, and then as it passed, another one started moving in a perpendicular line, and then suddenly the entire like sky above us were stars moving in grid-like patterns. Now we were completely sober.
The most unusual thing I've seen is the Integratron out in landers.
Not in the skies, but at Lightning in a Bottle last year, I witnessed Bashar get channeled in front of me.
Not really. A few things I questioned. Maybe I thought it could have been something with the clouds opening up a certain way.
Right after I picked up my kids from school, and there was this big thing in the sky up above the hill.
I mean, other than like strange lights, which often turn out to be stars, no, not really.
But all the stars started moving around randomly in this weird circular pattern, but nothing else was moving around it. And then just stopped. Like, okay then.
Do you think then that extraterrestrials could have possibly had an effect on our history or our evolution as a species?
Yes, I do. I think that it might be some connection.
Going to Belize, seeing some of the temples that are there, you pretty I felt pretty sure that there wasn't any way that someone back in the 15th century could have made that.
Yes. I think there's a lot that we are not told within our government, our everything.
Probably. Oh no. It's hard to believe. I believe in God, but it's hard to believe in God when there's a whole bunch of other things out here. Like, it is.
Well, I know that a lot of people believe that, Atlantis and Lemuria were populated by extraterrestrials and that they brought this really advanced technology to Earth, but then the civilizations disappeared into the sea.
It's possible, especially if we don't know whether it exists or not. We wouldn't even know what influence it would have had on us. And if the government knows, they sure wouldn't have told us.
If we came up with space travel and we can go to other places and influence their life, why wouldn't that have happened before or after us? Shouldn't be so grandiose to think that we're the only ones.
I mean, what if we have an effect on them? Or what if they have an effect on us? Who knows? I don't know. It's just a hard question.
What would you do if you learned that indeed extraterrestrials did exist and were here on this planet?
I don't know. It wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Oh no, I think aliens, if they do come, yeah, we should hide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God, I want to get off this planet. So I would ask to come with them.
Run like a motherfucker.
Oh, I would be very much interested in finding out how it works and what have they been doing all this time, and maybe hanging out with them and talking to them.
I would ask them, have you had an impact on us?
Hey, alien.
Okay, Bradley, thanks for doing that. So tell us briefly, what was it like having the talk?
It was great, Gareth. I met a lot of amazing beings out there.
Yeah? So you think this is something you would do again?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I've been making some major life changes to accommodate this. I'm actually thinking about starting an organization.
Oh, really? That's amazing. Tell us more about that.
Sure. The organization is called the Citizens Organization Concerning Knowledge of Extraterrestrials. And what the aim of the organization is...
Wait a minute, Bradley. You can't use that.
Why not? We're a citizens organization.
No, that acronym, it sounds like... cock. You can't call it that. Well, you shouldn't call it that.
No, it's not cock. It's cock-a.
That still sounds kind of like cock.
I'll think about it.
Bradley Holzer, everyone. All right, that's our show for now. See you next time, even though time is fake. Or... fake.